All right, everybody. So we're back. We're going to start another league. So things I've changed up in this recent build is I've added 4 Harbinger of the Tides, and I've put the Merfolk Tricksters back into the deck, and I've lowered the curve considerably. Dreamcaller Sirens are now out of the deck. We're down to 1 Rattle Change and 3 in the board. I've added 2 of the Nimble Obstructionists back into the main deck. I like the aggression of a 3 power flyer for 3 and took out a lot of the clunky 4-drops, which last league really hemmed us up on our mana curve. And I took out the negates, which really didn't prove very well. And I've went down 1 spell pierce in the board, so we no longer run the full playset amongst the deck. But I added 2 dissolve into the sideboard, just as like the hard counter. I know it's 3 mana and all, but I don't think that's going to hinder the deck that much as far as providing that late game hard counter that we need. Whether it was a dissolve or a negate. And I mean, dissolve does hit more than the negate to just kind of wrap the game up when we need it to. But I think by lowering the curve and going more with Harbinger of the Tides and Gadwick, relying more on Gadwick than we are Herald, really, I think it's going to make the deck a lot more streamlined. I don't know how long Herald will stay in the deck. If the Merfolk plus Gadwick plan turns out to be pretty good, I'm excited to see where that goes as far as the deck. Maybe the 4 Rattle Chains could stay just for the departed deckhands, but even giving your other spirits flash at that point, not necessarily a huge boon for the deck. But anyway, so we're going to get started in the league here. So wish me luck, and if you like, keep watching. All right, so let's see here. We lost the die roll. We're definitely mulliganing this. And we'll keep this hand. Go down a land. And boy, see, 1 league we have no lands. This league we have all the lands. Alright, thoughtseize is definitely good in Pioneer. I think at this point he knows what he's up against. He's probably got another thoughtseize. Oh, we're playing combo. Okay. I don't know what. So I guess we're just in race mode here. Let's see, what can we do? We're actually going to go Trickster, because Trickster can actually get damage in at least this turn. Okay. He's probably going to combo off after a Jace. Let's see what he gets. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Alright, so he wins next turn. That is a bummer. Mm-hmm. There it is. nothing we can do. Mm-hmm. And I stacked these wrong again. And there's the win. All right. So here's where the combo comes in. We need counter spells and obstructionists. I don't know if cutthroats are that good in this. Or I don't know about bouncing their creatures doesn't do us much good. So pull the rattle chains in. I think that's it. We got our counter magic and some aggressive creatures. See if we can get a better curve. Dag on it. Decent curve. That's all I want. We'll keep that. We're going to go down a Quickling. We're always down cards from all the mulligans. It's either all lands or it's no lands. Can't seem to get decent draws here. Which is frustrating. Because this is kind of a matchup where you need them. Does he just curve out and combo out? Alright, so at least we can draw a card. And we can trickster down something if we need to. Draw a card, that'll work. Let's go for the attack. Alright, so we're going to put lethal on the board. I think that's the right call. It is do or die now. Alright, they die. Alright, so we had enough aggression that game. Let's see if we can keep that up. I don't know if Harbingers... Nah, we'll keep it the way it is. I don't know if that's a good enough hand to keep, but I just don't know what we'll mulligan to, so we'll trust it. See if we can get a decent 2-drop or a few. That hurts. That puts a big stall in us. Alright. Let's see where we go from here. There goes the dissolve, I think. No? Okay. I really think you'd want to take the dissolve. But I don't know. Because I'm going to try and counter whatever you play. Okay. Fabled Passage is pretty good. No play on 4. Okay. I mean, we're really slow going here, but we have the dissolve up to stop the combo. End of turn, 4 mana. Okay. I assume he's just going to wait, and then he's going to play the 2 for combo. Remove his deck, and then play the draw card guy, win the game. At 6 mana, maybe his play. Well, yep, there it goes. This is how we lose. I don't know how we get around that. Yep. I just don't know how we get around that. I don't think there is a way around it. I mean, this is why Dimir combo is the best deck. Yep. Oh, that's gross. Did not see that coming. Mm-hmm. I don't even know what his other stuff is. Okie dokie. Let's go. He pretty much wins this game. He just has to drop a way to remove his library. He wins the game. And he had one in his hand. I don't know what he's doing. There's another one he's dropping. So he's got, or he's milling himself. Well, I'm trying to get the Jace off the board, and that's not working. The Quickling, like having 2 flyers was hopefully going to get me there. So... I mean, he's got to know he has this game. There's, after that Languish, like, there's no momentum I have. I can't recoup from that. All he has to do is mill his deck. Now, he has gotten 2 into the graveyard off of Jace. I mean, but I highly doubt I'm that lucky. That's not going to just happen for me. Ugh, of course not. But, I mean, there's a reason this deck is, like, the top deck in Pioneer right now. Because it's super consistent, synergizes. He's got this dude and Jace to combo off and win. And in this format, black has the best removal, as opposed to blue-white in Modern. I mean, I guess blue-white still has some decent stuff, but without Path to Exile in this format, and black having Fatal Push, it's going to be black. I think even with white having the better Wrath effects, it's still going to be favored black in the control matchups for now, because Fatal Push is so strong in Eternal formats. Yeah, I know. 4. I know. I take him down once. That's fine. Well, are we planning on racing here? Oh, you're looking for your other combo piece. He'll find it here. I mean, he's got like 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. He can look at 9 cards. Some garbage like that. And put one into his hand. So the chances of him not having an Inverter of Truth at this point is ridiculously low. So we're just going through these motions for God knows what reason at this point. There's no real reason for us to be going through these motions. He's got to have the Inverter of Truth at this point. He's literally went through his deck. He looked at 7. Isn't it he looks at? Look at the top X cards. Put one of them on top of your library and the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Yeah, so he looked at 7 and then he looked at 9. So he went through literally 16 cards out of his 30. That's over half of his deck. I'll draw another land because that's... You've got to be kidding me. This is ridiculous. Alright. That's just how it's going to crumble today. I mean, unless he's as unlucky as I am, which I highly doubt. Here it is. Inverter. And it just so happens he's flying. That's awesome. And I bet I'll draw another land. Are you kidding me? Talk about late. Alright, so we're just going to concede at this point because we're just not going to be able to get out of this. Like, we can't even attack now. But we can't block either, so... I'm going to counter this just because I can. Hey, look at that. Why not? Put it on top. It's not going to make a difference. Okie dokie. Mm-hmm. So frustrating. I mean, we're not going to get the sneaky win here. All right. So, all right. Trying to think of what I learned this match other than that the Dimir combo deck is good in Pioneer. And with the combination of thoughtseize, I just don't see this deck going away anytime soon. It's unfortunate because like it's gonna cause more bannings. They're gonna have to ban it because it is too consistent. I don't like Dig Through Time getting banned, but it is just too much in an Eternal format. It gets quickly busted, and if I had to guess, I'd say they're really trying to let Dig Through Time be available in a format, because it's really just a good all-around card in a standard type environment, and the Dimir decks with Dig Through Time were really cool, especially the Pearl Lake Ancient decks. Those decks were really cool decks. They weren't overly busted, but they did a fun version of control where you were attacking with a big sea monster. And so that was the one time where blue-black control really shined, in a way that wasn't like mill or some other kind of janky alternate win condition such as this, where you're removing your deck essentially, and that becomes a good thing. But in this case, I just see it as another turn 5 combo deck that you can't fend off, when the control deck also has Thoughtseize. When you have access to Thoughtseize as well as Dig Through Time and card selection, and all you have to do is pull off two cards in the combo, I think that that's going to be too much in this Eternal format for now. They'll probably have to ban it, and then someday later on in a long future from now, they'll unban it when the power level has come down and these cards are like, this combo is like ridiculously underpowered. But for now, like just having a 2-card combo that hits like this, with Thoughtseize to protect it, and Dig Through Time to get to it, and Dig Through Time having almost no cost to the player, it is a difficult combo deck to really combat. I just don't know, especially since you don't have decks that would prey on a deck like this otherwise. Like, you don't have a good overwhelming burn deck in Pioneer. And so without Lightning Bolt, and without Goblin Guide, it's not impossible, but it is difficult to race a combo deck where you're trying to beat them before turn 4 or 5. Like, that's a very difficult thing in this format to do, because you just don't have the card quality and the aggressive creatures to get there that fast. You don't have the redundancy that you need in the form of, like, you have 17 different versions of Lightning Bolt that you could run. You just don't have that. So when you're running things like Shock in your burn deck, it substantially lowers your ability to win by turn 4 by a lot. And so these decks kind of run unchecked right now, and that's why we see so many bannings on these turn 4 and 5 combo decks, because right now the aggressive decks don't have the tools they need to combat them, and the disruptive decks don't have enough gas to beat them either. Like, if you look at black-green, like, they're missing Tarmogoyf. And so in this format, this Dimir deck wouldn't survive a black-green deck. Black-green has everything it needs except for Tarmogoyf in this environment to be a top-tier, like, the top-tier tech. You have Abrupt Decay, you have Assassin's Trophies, you have Manlands, you have Thoughtseize, you have everything you could want, essentially, to kind of disrupt and totally run over these kind of decks, except for Tarmogoyf. But Tarmogoyf is that essential. Tarmogoyf is that essential to the black-green build that makes black-green rock. And so without that, you can't get underneath these combo decks because you can disrupt them just as easily as you did before, but you're not putting any pressure. The Tarmogoyf provided all the pressure that black-green needed, and it synergized with them blowing everything up and making your opponent discard. That deck just works. Like, Tarmogoyf is just made for black-green deck. But in this environment without Goyf, I mean, that is an essential part of the deck that black-green just can't get there. It can't get underneath there. There's no 2-drop that makes up for the loss of Tarmogoyf. And so you're really left, like, you even have Grimflayer, and that's not enough. Like, Grimflayer is not a Tarmogoyf. And so you're really left in a position where these turn 4 and 5 combo decks, no matter which one, take your pick, they're all stellar in an environment like this where decks can't beat them consistently. Like, aggro decks can't get underneath them. Disruption decks don't have the heavy hitters to get around them. And you don't have a control deck really putting these decks in check. There's no blue-white control or Jeskai control that's just wreaking havoc on these combo decks for some reason. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe these decks are out there and I'm just not paying enough attention at all. That could very well be. I just don't see it right now. I just see these decks kind of running rampant, and that's okay, but it's just, with thoughtseize in it, it's a difficult matchup for any deck to try and beat. So hopefully our matches won't be all these decks, these combo decks, but I do anticipate seeing more of them. Last league, we saw some of them, but not all. I was surprisingly hit with plenty of aggro decks that, I mean, we're probably going to run into them now. We're going to start running into Spirits. Blue-White Spirits is very good against the Dimir as far as, like, a tempo strategy against them. So we'll probably run against Blue-White Spirits here coming up. And that's not a good matchup for us either. But we'll get there. We'll figure this out. So, all right. Well, anyway, thanks for watching.